Hi, welcome to the Predator mount fighting video. Today what we're going to do, we're going to work on the mount. Mount is when I'm on top of the guy. I've cleared the man's guard from in between his legs. I am now mounted. I'm on top of the man. What I want to do is keep my center of gravity low. My knees will remain on the ground. I don't want to come up here to give him something to scoot out on. Get a reverse and get the attack on me. What I want to do is maintain control of his body. My weight is down here sitting on top of the man. Not only is my weight on my rear end, but my weight's also anchored on my knees and my feet. This way my balance is perfectly stationed throughout the whole body. What I don't want to do also is I don't want to come over here and extend my arms. Never extend your arms, whether you're on the bottom or you're on the top. What that'll open you up to is an arm bar. What I want to do, once I'm here, you'll see a bunch of people gain the mount position, then start throwing punches. If you do gain the mount position and you start throwing punches, throw sharp punches. Again, look down the barrel of a rifle in these things. Don't come up here and think just because you got the mount position, you can start winging these roundhouse hooks. They don't work. What you want to do is get these things as sharp and as crisp as possible, because obviously the man's going to cover himself up. Well, now what you want to do is fight through his hands. Once the man covers up, you can slide yourself down onto him. Stretch and hook the ankles. My ankles will hook his ankles. Stretch him out. Or you can just come down, shifting your hips down, come on top of the man. Once you're on top of the man, what you can do, grab hold of his shoulder. You notice that this arm's bent. This arm's not here. This arm is bent. Grab hold of the shoulder. Come underneath of his chin and drive my elbow to the mat. If I come up here, I grab his shoulder, I try and choke, but my elbow doesn't come down, the man will pass my elbow. So what I want to do is hook his shoulder. Use it as leverage. Now I'm going to drive my elbow down to the mat. Leverage. Boom. Boom. Make sure that your elbow goes below his chin. If my elbow stays above his chin, he's going to pass it. Now, if he passes it with this arm here, he's got to choke. What I want to do also, maintain control on his arms. I can come down here. Now I have this arm pinned. Now I can work my choke. Now I can work my elbows. This man's hand is trapped. Now I have the advantage. I'm just not sitting up here, coming up here, punching like this. I'm not up here blocking this, punching like this, punching like this. What I want to do is use my whole body at all times. Come down on the man. When you come down on the man, make sure you're bent. Boom. Don't come down on the man, arms first. Come down all at once. Land on his face with your elbow. Let him carry the weight. Boom. Now this arm is on his arm, carrying him down. I'm driving into his throat. I can now reach underneath, go for a head pinch. What I'm doing here, I'm squeezing him behind his neck, grasping my hands, I'm driving my shoulder into him. I'm pulling this hand forward as I drive this shoulder in. It's not a submission move like a choke or like an arm bar. What this is going to do is make this man very uncomfortable. What I can do from here is move into the side, crank up this way. When I'm in the mount position, I want to make sure that my weight doesn't go too high or too low. If I get too high and I'm up here and I'm throwing punches, this man can get out. What I want to do, maintain my point of balance over his point of balance. When I'm on top of the man, raining down punches, this man covers up. Now I have to find a different attack. I come down on top of the man, grab his wrist, grab a key lock. I'm going to pull this. You paint the canvas with this key lock. Don't grab it and start pulling around like this. It doesn't work. What I want is now he's going to carry my weight. You see, I slide my hips down. I crunch this in. Thus pulling the arm. I'm painting the canvas with this. How's that feel? Hurts. Now, if the key lock doesn't work, what we do is move to something else. Again, you see, every time I go down here, my hips go back. I just don't fall forward. And keep my hips stationary. What I have to do, my hips have to work in conjunction with the rest of my body, because my hips have the balance. My hips are going to slide down. I'm going to come down. Stay tight on the man. You want to remain tight on this man. You give this man 1 to 2 inches, he'll pull a reversal, and then he'll have the advantage over you. Here I am on this man's arm again. Here I am with this choke. I come over here, come underneath, head pinch. I come over here, go for a choke like this. Again, this hand's underneath, this hand comes across, grasp the elbow. Again, my elbow's going down to the ground. You see, this hand stays up here. This hand does not go flat. When I have the thumb pointing up, I've gained anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inches of arm. If I'm here, rotate it thumb up, grab hold of my bicep or elbow, drive it in. Curl my hand into my elbow while I'm driving my elbow into my hand. Everything works in conjunction with each other. Another situation that arises a lot is if I'm down here, the man will try and push me off. When the man pushes me off is a perfect opportunity for an arm bar. I grab it here. Now, you see how I curl his body up into mine. And I already switched my hips. My hips went from here to when he pushed me up to over to here. Now I keep sliding up, grasp hold of his wrist. Step over, come back, push my legs down, pull his arm up, push my hips up, pinch my legs. Again, I'm down here on top of the man. Man pushes me up. I grab this arm this way now. What I'm doing is I'm blocking his hand with my head. I'm using my head as a third hand. I'm pulling this in. See how I push against the joint? Boom. I'm driving my head down as I pull my elbow up. One more time. He pushes up. I grab here. I trap here. I push. See how my hips come back out again. I'm trapping his body with this leg here. He can't escape. If I did not have this, I went to do this. This is not as effective. He can curl over, pull out. What I'm doing here, blocking his body, trapping his arm, forcing the arm lock. Another choke is the same situation where my hand is grasping hold of his shoulder and coming down. Except this time, I'm going to bring this hand underneath his shoulder. I'm here, applying the pressure, but now I reach underneath. I grab a lock. Now it gives me leverage to pull this arm up and apply the choke down. I'm pulling his arm away from him as I'm driving his head into the mat. Under here, here. Where's the pain? Everywhere. This also pulls on the tendons on the shoulder as it's attacking the neck. Again, you're here. This is not working. You can't get this elbow underneath the chin. So you lock up here. Now it gives you more balance. Boom. Again, I come down on top of the man. I grab hold of his shoulder. I'm trying to get my elbow down. He's blocking my elbow. Now I come underneath. Grabbing here. This gives me leverage. This is just a point of leverage to apply it even more. I'm driving my shoulder down as I'm pulling his shoulder up. Like this. The hips move also. Again, it's just like throwing a punch. You just don't throw an arm punch. You also use your hips in a punch. This is what's going on here. I'm driving with my hips into the man. What we're doing here is we're fighting a man with a gi. I'm going to grab his gi lapel on this side here. I'm going to open it up to feed this arm in deep. Now I'm going to cross over deep with this arm. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bend both elbows into the ground. You see my legs are back here underneath his hips. Now I'm going to drive my body down over it as my elbows go down. What that does is increase the pressure that much more by using your body against his throat. Again, we're here, I open up, I reach in here. Now I drive down. Very simple, very quick. Again, open up, drive, drive, down. Again, open up, drive, drive, down. Again, on this ski attack, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the same side lapel with the front grab. I like to grab this one like this, down. Some people will grab it straight like this and hook. I like to grab it here. What I'm going to do is pull this side down, drive this side across. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll open this up here when I grab this and drive this across. Now I pull down, thus making the choke that much more tighter. Some people will like to take it, drive this across the top of this. Again, I have modified this move to suit my needs, to suit my style. You're going to do the same for yourself. I grab hold of it, I grab hold here. I open this up, I drive this. Now I pull down. To me, it feels that much tighter. A lot of people will grab them both straight front. Grab this one, pull down, drive this one across. Straight. Grab this one, open it up, drive this across, pull down. Like I said, I like to go here. Boom, boom, boom. Another attack from your mount position is when a man gets out of a key lock. I'm on top, attacking the key lock. He breaks free, thus extending his arm. I don't panic, I don't retreat. All I do is go forward to attack it more. What I'm doing now, I'm laying my shoulder into his arm while I have my arm underneath his elbow. Here's your leverage. What I'm doing is I'm putting full mount leverage down on this arm. I'm also trapping it with my head. I'm working the head this direction as it goes down. Again, I'm working the key lock. The man frees his arm. I slide up over top, trap it with my head. As you see, the key lock feeds the arm underneath the elbow. When it gets free, this hand gets free, it's automatically underneath the elbow. Now what I'm doing is driving my shoulder into it to apply pressure to get this arm down. Also, my head's driving it at an angle like this. It's stopped by my bicep. Coming across, boom. Again, we're in here fighting. I get the key lock. Key lock gets free. Now I just slide right over top. Again, we're in here fighting. I get the key lock. Key lock gets free. Now I just slide right over top. This next move, when I'm in the mount, the guy reaches up and grabs hold of me and pulls me down. What I want to do is I want to break free. I want to create space. That's where I get my advantage. Good way to create space, work his face. See where my hands are? My hands are bent. I create space by working against his eyes, against his forehead, against his cheekbone, against his ears. I'm here. I am now stronger. I can do a bench. As I extend myself, his arm is now extended. Do I wrap up? I'm here. His arm is locked, ready for an arm bar. Again, this man's pulling me tight. What I want to do is create space. Come up underneath, into his face, drive up. As I drive up, I hook his elbow. This next move is a suffocation technique. When I'm on top raining down punches on my opponent, he'll curl up and grab hold of me, pulling me down. Now, if I can't get my waist in there to pry myself loose, what I'm going to do is go underneath his head. I'm going to pull his face into my torso, just cutting off his wind here. You'll see I use both hands. What this hand does here initially is lifts up for this hand to slide under and tighter, lower on the neck. Now I'm curling up. I'm pressing down on the man as I'm pulling up onto him. I'm going to suffocate the man against my torso. Once you cover up his nose and his mouth, obviously he cannot breathe. This I've seen people do, but it's easy to remove. It's hard to remove a torso on a man who's 200 plus pounds. What I'm doing here, this is the initial grab. Now I sink this down low. Now I reach over, grab my own arm, squeezing him in. What I'm going to do is I'm pulling his head in as I'm driving my torso down. What I want to do here is when I'm punching the man, I want to make sure I pick the spots. You just don't want to flail wildly and break your hand. What you want to do is be precise. You're in control in this situation. Be precise with your punches. If the man covers up or if the man curls up and pulls you down, now what you have the ability to do, I always hook the ankles. My ankles will hook his legs. I'll scoot down. What that does is stretches out his torso. Now what I can do, I apply weight down on top of the man. I can attack the top of his head with some elbows. Boom. I shift my weight here. Boom. My weight comes back over here. Boom. I deliver 2 or 3. This way I always remain fresh with each arm. Once you go beyond 3, 4 punches, you start to get tired. You lose the effectiveness of the punch. You're in control up here. Shift your weight. When I shift my weight, my knee thus takes a big part of the balance. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing. My knee goes over here. My knee is over here. It's like a leg on a table. Boom, boom, boom. Always switch. Remain fresh. Keep your arsenal ready. Now, what I do is slide up here, apply pressure on top of his face, just creating the space I need to come back to his jaw. A punch, an elbow. Now I'm going to come back. Remain tight on the man. I go deliver punches here. Deliver a punch here. Create a little space. Deliver a punch here. Notice when I stay up there, my hips are always tight on the man. I don't release the pressure of the hips. If I release the pressure of the hips, he'll be able to switch his hips. That's another reason I tie up his ankles with my ankles. I tie up his ankles, my hips are down. I use his own body against him. Take your arm against his nose. Nose bends very easy. With this much weight and pressure against it, it's got to go somewhere. If it doesn't break, it's going to be highly uncomfortable. That way the man will turn his head. You can go to something else. I can slide underneath, go for a choke. Come back, hit him with an elbow. Pick your spots. You have the eyebrows, you have the temples, you have the ears, you have a triangle right here, which is a very good knockout point. If you pop his ears, he's going to end up with cauliflower ears. They're not very comfortable, and they have an acute pain to them, which will change this man's world immensely. What you can do here is sucker a man into an armbar. A lot of the UFC fighters make the mistake of extending an arm to roll over to an escape. When you do that, you leave yourself open to this Eisenbacher. I'm here delivering punches on this man. What he's going to do is he's going to extend his arm to push off. I catch it here. I let him roll. When I allow him to roll, I'm also moving my foot out. I'm following him over. As he rolls, I come down over top of him, thus creating the armbar. Again, I sucker him. I give him some space. Over here. Lift up, creating the space necessary for him to drive. I hook. I let the arm go. I follow the man now. As the man goes down, my leg comes around underneath of him. Now I have the armbar. What you're doing to this man is you're lying to this man. You're giving him a false sense of security. You're letting him believe that he's getting out of the mount position. I'm in the mount, punching him. Again, with the Predator series, it never stops. I always steal or I develop new techniques. I steal techniques from other fighters and I adapt them to my style. I stole this one from Andy down here. This one's very sweet. What's going on here is, again, I'm going to sucker him into moving. When he does, I reach across, grab his lapel. I now step over his face, thus creating a choke. Now I have an arm bar and a choke situation. I lean back. Now I decide if I want to choke him out or break his arm. Again, give him a false sense of security. Give him a hope for escape. He turns. I block him here. I reach down, grabbing the lapel on his gi. Now I step over, come back. Now I'm going to drive him down, push away, and pull up. I pull up on the gi collar. I push away with my legs. As I do that, my hips also come up against the arm bar. This way you put him to sleep, and when he wakes up, he has a broken arm. Again, come up, give the man a false sense of security. You're here. You reach underneath. Grab his gi collar. Step. Pull down. Choke break. Now another nasty Predator technique. What I'm going to do again is I allow the man to think that he's getting through. When he does make the turn, I get a half Nelson on him. Now I don't end here. I sink it tight. I step across. When I step across, my hand comes up underneath, separating in between his chest and my chest, thus creating the choke. I lock up, pull his head in. Again, I come up. I create the space, making him think he now has enough room for an escape. When he escapes, I grab the arm. I feed into a half Nelson. I move my body around. I come underneath. Now I squeeze for the choke. What this does, I have the half Nelson, step around, coming in like this, pulling the head into the torso. Again, lift this body. Create the space needed for the man to make an escape or make a reversal. When he goes, I catch the arm here, slide it down to the neck. I secure it. My head comes down. My body's tight against his body now. I'm leaning into the man. Now I'm going to step across, come into the side position. When I do that, this hand follows this leg. You see this leg comes, this hand comes. Now it comes in between the two torsos, locks up. When it does lock up, now I crunch the neck, pull it into itself. You see, I'm not on both knees. Lift up on this to create leverage. If you want, you can come up, more leverage. Let him carry your weight. Stay tight. Always stay tight. The only reason we're coming up here is to sucker the man. When he goes, now I go tight again. Now I work around, lock up, squeeze. Now we're in the side mount position. We rinse in the guard, we go to the mount. If we leave the mount, we go into the side mount. What we do from the side mount, a lot of the times, the man, you want to stay tight on the man. Get your leg underneath his head, get your leg underneath his torso. Now, I'm here. What I can do from this position is rain elbows into his face. If I get tired of raining elbows, I secure this arm here. Now I come for knees. This is a very strong hold. I prefer the side mount over the mount because I believe I can inflict more damage. I can come down here, let the man carry my weight, my chest against his chest. I stay up off of my knees. If I'm on my knees, he's not getting the full brunt of the weight. I come up on my toes, I drive into the man. Now I come here, I'm driving. He's carrying my weight as I'm raining down elbows. I can attack with elbows from this position here. Once I secure this, now I can come up with knees. Again, this is a highly effective elbow. I like this elbow. I can work the choke. Come over here. I can work an arm bar. Come underneath here. Grab the head. Arm bar and choke at the same time. What you're doing here, I'm working the choke. His arm comes up. Now it feeds into an arm bar. Now all I do, look up. I secure the head, I look up, pop the hips. If you want to make this really tight, the man has a gi on, open it up, feed the gi. Sit out. And you can feed the gi. You don't have to come up here, boom, like this. Feed the gi from tight. Stay tight, work. Remember your sit out. What your sit out is, boom. You're in this position here. This leg comes up, this leg curls underneath. Now what you're doing is you're creating a lot more leverage against the man's body. You're not just sitting on your butt. Underneath here, boom. Again, I'm in the side mount. I'm letting him carry my weight. I shifted my weight off of his chest down into his rib region. I'm on top here. I'm attacking with elbows here. I'm maintaining this arm. I'm pinning this arm here so that he can't punch me. Can't punch me, can't push across. If he does push across, come up into an arm bar. What I'm doing here, I release this arm. Maintain a choke on this guy. Right now he's worried about the choke. I release this arm. What can you do? You push, you try and free yourself. Now you come up into an arm bar. All right, what we're here now is if I'm below this man's arm and I'm attacking the man and he chooses to put the arm in between my legs. He digs it in between, grab hold of the man's wrist. Now you do your sit out. When you do your sit out, you got him right into an arm bar. Again, the man's arm goes in between your legs. You grab, you sit out. Right now what I'm doing, I'm applying all my weight on this man's chest. If you listen, you can hear him trying to breathe. I'm attacking him here. If he tries to get out by putting a hand in between my legs, I grab, sit. All right, we'll review this one more time. What you see is I'm in the side mount position. I'm off of my knees. I'm not sitting here creating space. What I'm doing is limiting the amount of space. My torso is against his torso, pushing down. When he reaches through, now what I do is I grab hold of the wrist. Now my hips will turn. Just bringing this foot underneath this in the sit out. Now I have the arm bar. That arm is broke. This is a very fast move. It's applied instantaneously. I'm here. I'm attacking the man here. He tries to break through. What we're going to do now is a side mount head pinch. I reach underneath the man's neck. Again, thumbs up. The thumb is up to create more space. As you see here, I have about 1.5 inches of bone. Now I have 3 inches of bone. Boom, boom. Now what I do is I lock up. Come back down here. My head will go underneath his chin and I'll drive up. As I drive up, I pinch in. I curl his body in as I pop his head off. Here, lock up. Start down here, drive. Again, I'm down here on this man. We're working, can't get anything. I pop underneath. I inch back. As I scoop back, what that does is that winds up my attack for his throat. Boom. What happens here is we're going to allow this man to break away. If he does break away because you create space, I create space, the man breaks clearly away, goes to his stomach. Notice how my hips follow his hips. I don't stay back here and watch him go. My hips stay on top of him. He goes, I go. Now I'm on top of the man, I go for the choke. Your hips should stay with this man's hips. I'm here, I'm across his body. He breaks, my hips go with him. If I don't, he breaks, I stay, he can keep going. Now I'm stretched out, I'm the victim. I'm here, I just follow the man over. Boom, now I'm on top of the man. Keep your center of gravity over his center of gravity. You will maintain the superior position. Whether he's on his back or whether he's on his stomach. Again, he's here. I give him space. He creates. Boom. He rolls. Now I got the lock. If you notice, I'm not chasing my opponent. I'm not extending myself and reaching out. If I do, he extends. I'm here. Again, he can pop up now. Slide out. He's got the upper hand. What I want to do is maintain center of my balance over his center of his balance. I'm here, he goes away, I follow him. Stay contacted to this man, stay glued to this man. He has a gi, you open it up, grab hold of it, shove down. Watch my hips. My hips stay with his hips. He rolls, I go with him. This concludes the Predator Mount series. I've taught you from the mount and from the side mount. I hope you were able to grasp the situation on this. Continue to keep your balance on this man's balance. Use this in the dojo, use it on the street, use it in the UFC when you get there. It's something that will never leave you. Always remember, shift your center of balance from your shoulders to your hips. Always maintain your center of balance when you're on top of the man or when you're underneath of the man. Create space. And don't create space. Whatever you need to do, you control the fight. That's how you win the fight. Good luck.